Hey you there! Are you tired of such long, boring pharmacology lectures and want some quick, short videos that help you remind so many pharmacological terms? Then you are exactly at the right place, because today, Mr. Owl, that's me, will help you memorize some important pharmacological concepts with the help of pretty interesting mnemonics. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started. First, let's start with the revision of some receptors. We are aware of alpha and beta stimulation of adrenoreceptors, but which one causes vasodilation and which one causes vasoconstriction are hard to remember. Well, let's make that easy for you to memorize. In general, alpha stimulation causes constriction of smooth muscles. A handy way to remember this is to imagine the Greek letter alpha is made of rope, so when the two ends are pulled, it forms a tight knot, showing constriction, which we can relate with vasoconstriction. On the other hand, beta stimulation causes vasodilation, so we can say beta stimulation makes them bigger. Here, bigger represents the dilation of smooth muscles. Now, what about memorizing beta receptors of the heart and lungs? Well, it's easy to learn which subtype predominates in each, as the heart has predominantly beta-1 receptors, and the lungs have mainly beta-2, and of course, you have one heart and two lungs. So, one heart indicates beta-1, and two lungs indicate beta-2. Quite easy to remember, right? The next mnemonic will help you understand the useful summary of gastrointestinal functions of the parasympathetic nervous system, and that is, periods must increase secret stomach cramps, where P indicates parasympathetic system. That involves muscarinic receptors, indicated by M. Increase secretions of gastrointestinal system, indicated by secret stomach, and cramps here represent gastric motility. So what we get from this mnemonic is that the parasympathetic system involves muscarinic receptors that increase secretions of the gastrointestinal system and gastric motility. Other than GIT, more systemic effects of parasympathetic system are covered by this neat phrase that says, decreased arteries by bringing Brad Pitt. Here, decreased indicates reduction or constriction. Arteries can remind you of arterioles, Braining for bronchioles, Brad for bradycardia, and Pitt for pupil. So here we got that the systemic effect of the parasympathetic system is constriction of the arterioles, bronchioles, heart, and pupil. Now, the next mnemonic is about the route of signal from the nervous system. Here, from the central nervous system, the first stop for all nerves is always nicotinic receptors. After that, all parasympathetic neuroeffector junctions are muscarinic. Thus, the final stop is always muscarinic. Therefore, the path of these parasympathetic nerves is from the spinal cord to nicotinic receptors to muscarinic receptors, and it can be remembered by Pat likes S&M, where P indicates parasympathetic nerves that arise from the S that represents the spinal cord. Then it goes through N, that's nicotinic, and then M, that's for muscarinic. Now, we know that muscarinic receptors are involved in the parasympathetic system. Their location can be remembered by a simple word, that is, message, where M stands for muscarinic, that are found peripherally in S for smooth muscles, and G for glands. After their location, let's try to memorize some muscarinic actions with the help of a rhyme. That is, muscle-bound men in a little camp. My big secret makes you damp. Cause M3 makes me pee. M2 slows the heart, dude. M1 motorway northern route. Let me explain how this rhyme will help you memorize muscarinic actions. Here, muscle-bound men can be considered as muscarinic receptors, and little camp shows its action. That is a decrease in CAMP. big secret in second line for increase in secretions. That's its normal function. And then the next 3 lines tell about its 3 types, M1, M2, and M3. Where M3 causes bladder contraction can be remembered by P. M2 slows the heart, which causes bradycardia. And last, M1 is found in the brain. So in the rhyme, north is up and so is the brain, indicating its location. So in a fun way, you have learned many actions of muscarinic receptors. Now, the next mnemonic is about NANC transmitters. That are non-adrenergic non-cholinergic neurotransmitters, and they mainly include nitrous oxide and catecholamine dopamine. This can be easily remembered by a mnemonic. Nancy boys are no dopes, where Nancy will remind you of NANC. NO for nitrous oxide, and dopes can help you remember dopamine. Now the next mnemonic is about the synthesis of one of the important catecholamines, which is noradrenaline. The 3 stages of noradrenaline, or norepinephrine, synthesis are tyrosine, that is its precursor. First synthesizes dopa, or dihydroxy-L-phenylalanine, which forms dopamine, and ultimately norepinephrine is synthesized. Here's a handy reminder of these steps. Tired dopes do nada. T for tyrosine, D for dopa, do for dopamine, and then nada to remember noradrenaline. There are 3 enzymes involved in these 3 steps that can be memorized by the mnemonic. Hide-de-ho, where hide indicate hydroxylase, D for decarboxylase, and ho for beta-hydroxylase. Next, mnemonic is about zero-order kinetics. Do you know what is zero-order kinetics? Well, zero-order kinetics means a constant amount of drug is eliminated per unit time, and the rate is independent of the concentration of the drug. Here's a mnemonic to memorize some of the drugs that follow zero-order kinetics. That is, 0 watt power. Here 0 represents zero-order kinetics. W for warfarin, H for heparin, A for aspirin and alcohol, T for theophylline, T for tolbutamide, P for phenytoin and phenylbutazone, and E for ethanol. The next mnemonic is about statins. Do you know what are statins? Let me tell you, these are a group of medicines that help lower the level of low-density lipoproteins or cholesterol levels in the blood, and they are usually taken at night. But there is an exception of atorvastatin, which can be taken at any time because of its long duration of action. This mnemonic can help you memorize that, at or any time, where at or can remind you of atorvastatin that can be taken anytime, either day or night. The next mnemonic will help you memorize loop diuretics. We know that furosemide and bumetanide are both loop diuretics. We also know that the loop of Henle is U-shaped. So remember, both these share the letter U, and this can be a helpful reminder. Do you find difficulty in memorizing pharmacological structures as well? If yes, then I am going to teach you a fun way. First, draw a house. Second, add a garage and smoke from the chimney. Third, add an outdoor aerial and a garden fence. And then in the last step, stick on an amide group. Congratulations! You just learned the structure of 6-aminopenicillamic acid. That is the basis of the penicillins. The next mnemonic will help you memorize some directly acting sympathomimetic amines. And the mnemonic is, I saw ape naked, where I saw indicates isoprenaline. APE can remind you of epinephrine, and NA of Nate can help you remember noradrenaline. Now, the last mnemonic is about antituberculosis drugs. We know tuberculosis required triple or quadruple therapy. That can be easily remembered by a mnemonic, RIPE. Here, R for rifampicin, I for isoniazid, P for pyrazinamide, and E for ethambutol. These all are the name of medicines that are given in therapy of tuberculosis. That's all for today. These mnemonics must have helped you in remembering some very important pharmacological concepts. And if you want to learn other subjects the same way, go check out our latest mnemonic videos on physiology, immunology, biochemistry, and microbiology at none other than sqadia.com.